How's it going, everybody? Coming to you today courtesy of motocampnerd.com. Motocampnerd.com is your one-stop moto camping bike packing shop. They've got all the gear that you need or want for your next moto camping adventure. And today, thanks to motocampnerd.com, we are going to be testing out the Fly Creek HV UL2 Bikepacking tent. They sent this tent to me for review, and I am really excited to test it out. As you can see, we've got this dude loaded up on the Monkey, and with how small it is, it fits the Monkey perfectly. So all of you guys that have the bigger adventure bikes or the middleweight adventure bikes, just imagine how that thing would disappear inside your luggage, your pannier, whatever. It would just disappear. It's tiny. So I've got the bike loaded up. We're going to go do a single overnight. That's all I've got time for right now. We're going to be testing out the Fly Creek HV UL2 Bikepacking tent, and we're going to be taking the Honda Monkey on this adventure. So stick around. Let's check out the Fly Creek HV UL2 Moto Camping Adventure on the Honda Monkey. The Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL2 Bikepacking tent was originally designed for bike packing, and it comes with what they call their short stick system, which the sticks are only 12 inches long. It was originally designed to fit in between the handlebars of most bicycles, but as you can see, it fits great on the front of a motorcycle, even something as small as this Honda Monkey. It comes in its own carrying case that has a semi-molly type system that allows it to cinch itself down and to be hooked to stuff. So I have this using its own mounting system attached to the front rack of the Monkey, and it sits there very securely. I'm really impressed with the packaging of this. Also, with this tent, you can do what they call their fast fly setup, which would be great for wintertime camping like I'm doing now, where all you put is the ground sheet, the sticks, and then on top of that, you throw the rain cover on, and it basically acts like a tarp system for you. As it comes packaged, the tent weighs about 2 pounds 10 ounces, which definitely puts it into the lightweight category. Maybe not ultralight compared to some Dyneema tents, but it's still lightweight. I mean, a sub 3 pound, 2-person, semi-freestanding tent is pretty impressive. With the weight of the Fly Creek, you're really not even in any sort of penalty when you're moto camping like this. I mean, even on something as lightweight as a Honda Monkey, the 2 pounds up there on the front is way underneath the weight that the front rack is maxed out at. And it's so light that you don't notice any difference in the handling of the bike. Even when you're on single track like this right here. So here we are at a place locals call Ruby Lake. Got the Monkey, got my camping gear. Let's get camp set up before it gets too dark on us, and we'll have a good old time tonight. Testing out the Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL2 Bikepacker tent. And as you can see, it fits so well on the front of the Monkey there. All right, let's get camp set up. So as you can see, the pack size of this is pretty impressive. And this is that semi-molly system I was talking about that allows you to cinch it down to something similar to the front rack on my motorcycle there. This is the short stick system. The tent body and the fly are inside this, and inside my pack here is where the ground cloth is. So we'll put down the ground sheet, and then we'll set up the tent on top of it. The tent body itself, you remove the cover, open it up. This is the first time I've even unpacked the tent, So there might be a learning curve on setting it up. It's supposed to be easy, but I've never done it, so I don't know. As you can tell, I mean, it's got stakes. This would be the rain fly, and here is your tent body. And then in its own separate sack, you've got your poles. They are a Y system. So they should be pretty easy to figure out which is the front, which is the back. 2 go in the front, 1 goes in the back. So these are aluminum anodized poles. They just kind of snap together on their own. Pretty easy. It's just kind of doing it all by itself as I get it set up. And big T in the front. Does come with a sleeve in case you break it. This is an emergency field repair sleeve. It's kind of hard to see from where you're at, but I've got yellow back here on the back of the ground sheet, and I've got yellow back here on the back of the tent. I've got yellow or white on the front. This back piece, yellow. The 2 front pieces are silver to kind of go with the white. So let's see here. You've got clips to clip in for your rain fly, and you just take these little eyelets and run the end of the pole through it and into the eyelet on the ground sheet. And that is the first step into setting it up. Next, you'll go around, and there's plastic clips that will clip onto the metal like so. Okay, so this is it, and it's semi-freestanding. So if you needed to, you can actually pick this up, move it around, put it somewhere else, whatever you might need to do. So once you got it kind of set where you want it, after being able to pick it up and move it, you can take your stakes, stake out your ground sheet, stake out the tent body. It does come with its own big Agnes stakes. I'm going to put a couple in because that is where I want it, and then I'm going to take and throw the rain fly on top of it. As you can see, the ground sheet also gives you a usable space inside your vestibule. So this right here is where you're set up 99%. I've got my corner staked. I've got my ground sheet pulled taut. Gives me my usable space in the vestibule. And here's where the semi-freestanding comes in. You have to peg out the back corners to get this straight across here. So it's freestanding, you can move it until you peg those down. Once you peg those down, then it's not freestanding anymore. So that is the first couple of steps. Super easy to do, considering this is the first time I've done it. And next we're going to look at the rain fly. Okay, so this is our first setup, and as you can see, you got plenty more tie downs here, here, and here, and another back here, all the way around, so that you can really make it ready for storm mode. But that's the first setup. Let's open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. You've got your entrance right here with the zipper. And then unhook, and you can roll the door back. You got your little plastic toggle right there to hold it. You got the same thing for the inner door. And you can see how got you a nice little spot. Put your shoes, take your shoes off before you get in the tent. Pretty spacious opening. We don't really have any bugs, so I'm going to go ahead and roll back the main door. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm about 5'10", 5'11", weigh about 200 pounds, and can perfectly set up here in the front. Tons of room beside me. This tent is made for your head to be at this end and your feet at the other. It would be a little tight for two people. I definitely want to know the person that I was in here with. Yeah. So that's the first setup, first look at it. Let me get all my gear in here and we'll come back and show you what it looks like with the sleeping pad and everything added in. I'll show you all the stuff on the inside, such as your gear loft, your place where you can put your phone and headphones can come down. You've got pockets everywhere. I'll show you all of that in just a second. I'm going to throw my gear in and we'll be right back. Okay, so now through the magic of the internet, I've got everything set up. I'm going to bring you inside, show you what it looks like in here, and how, even though this is the two-person, it's really more of a 1.5. You can make it work with two, but I really think that it's going to be more of a 1.5, especially if you're moto camping. So let me bring you inside and show you what we got. Okay, so we'll start down at the foot end, and you can see you've got plenty of room for your sleeping bag or your quilt, your sleeping pad, and you don't have to worry about touching the outside and getting condensation all over your bag. Plenty of room. As you come forward, you've got a little bit of a gear loft here. I've got my puffy jacket and a pair of puffy booties crammed into it, but you could put whatever you needed. Come around here to the front. You've got a storage pocket here. I've got a base layer. I've got room for my helmet, my other knickknacks that I need to have in here that I want to keep dry. If you look straight up, you've got another gear loft right here, which has headphone exits on each side, so you could like put your phone up here and run the headphones down if you had long enough headphones, and you could lay here and you wouldn't have to hold your phone. On this side over here, you've got another little gear hole. I've got the another base layer in here just to kind of show what it looks like. And voila, that is pretty much the inside. And sorry about all the crinkling, that is my air mat. So again, this is what it looks like sitting in it. You would sit down and have to spin around to get into your laying position. And with two people, that could be cumbersome, especially if one person needs to get out and go pee in the middle of the night. So yeah, even though they call this a two-person, I call this a one-person, especially if you're moto camping, especially if you want to put your helmet inside. Especially if you like to spread out your gear, if you want to keep your, you know, I've got my tennis shoes here, but if you want to keep like your riding boots, I do have like my camp cook kit here. I wouldn't recommend cooking on this because if it got hot, you could melt it. Okay, so that's been the first setup and the first look at the Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL2 solution dyed tent from motocampnerd.com. Since I am usually one to really enjoy tarp camping, I'm going to break this down and I'm going to set it up in just what they call the quick fly setup. So I will show you that now. You'll disconnect the fly from the corners and from any tie outs that you have it attached to. This would be the same steps right now as if you were breaking it down. Next, I'm going to take all of these little clasps off, and that will allow the tent body to collapse. Remove your tent body, and now you'll be ready. If you just did this step first, you'd be ready to reinstall this. So imagine this is your first step. Or your next step would be if you were tearing it all the way down, you would remove your metal Y harness and go from there. But we're going to be setting up the fast fly system. You'll do the same as before, pulling the cover over the harness and using the clips at the corner of the rain fly to attach to the corner of the ground sheet. You've got corner tie outs, attach those to the same stakes that the bottom is attached to. Since you're not using the body, that helps hold rigidity. You'll want to go inside and there's little Velcro tabs to attach the fly to your metal support. So you'll go in and wrap those around. And now you have your fast fly set up, which will cut your base weight down about a pound, a little over a pound. It opens you up to bugs. It does open you up to becoming possibly wetter. If you don't pick a good camp spot, you could get water that runs inside. But that's the fast fly setup. It is a lot faster than setting up the tent body. And I like it. It's more of my style because I do a lot of tarp camping. So I'll get everything loaded up in here and I'll show you what it looks like when you do the fast fly setup. So as you can see, with the fast fly system, you've got to be more careful with site selection and with how you want to store your gear. Because if it comes a heavy downpour, if you've picked a bad site, water will run off of the tarp over your ground sheet and onto you. If you've done proper site selection, if it does rain, it'll run down, and if it does run back this way, it'll go underneath, not on top of your ground sheet. And you can see you've got a little bit less ground space, or it feels like you've got less ground space, but you've still got plenty enough room for everything. You lose all of your extra little gear lofts and all of that, but you're giving up weight for comfort, basically. So it depends on if you want speed and weight versus comfort. Now, I know tarp camping or camping under the fast fly setup may not be for everyone, but this is just one of the options that you have. And I wanted to show you that option because this is more my style of camping. I do use tents when I know that there's going to be a heavy bug presence, or when I know that there's going to be a heavy rain presence. Not supposed to rain. If it does, it's supposed to be light. Like I said, you do have to be more mindful of your site selection. You have to be more mindful of how you want to stack things. You can't just throw it in willy-nilly the way you can with a regular tent that has a bathtub floor. But I did want to show that this is an option. once again, you're giving up weight for convenience. If you want the tent body, it's going to weigh more. It's going to take up a little bit more room. Minuscule amount, but if you're a gram counter or an ounce counter, it does matter. If you like being more in tune with nature, if you like tarp camping like I do, this is an option to where you could leave the fly, or just take the fly, leave the body at home. You can bring both, set the body up if you know you need it, or just set up like this every time. So I like having that flexibility from the Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL2 solution dyed that I got from Moto Camp Nerd. I'll see you guys in the morning when I pack this up and ride home, give you my final thoughts on it after sleeping in it tonight. Had a good night in the tent. It obviously didn't rain, so I couldn't really test out any of that, but I'm sure it's going to be dry. It's a good rain fly. It's a good ground sheet. Slept totally comfortable. After exactly one night of use, what are my thoughts on the Big Agnes Fly Creek HV UL2? Pros. I really like the fast fly setup. This will probably be the way that I would set it up 90% of the time. It's very reminiscent of my tarp camping. I like it. I like this setup a lot. Pro number 2, the actual using the body of the tent. I love all the storage overhead. That storage compartment that was right here, that would be perfect for setting your phone and watching a movie without having to hold it. You could just lay there all snuggled up and watch a movie. And the gear loft that was further back, I like it because you could set up and, like, if you didn't need your puffy, you could unzip your puffy, store it right there, lay down. If you got cold in the middle of the night, you could reach up, grab a beanie or a puffy or whatever you needed. So I love the little storage area on the inside of the tent. I really like the modularity that you can do it this way, or you can do it with the tent. You can use the ground sheet. You cannot use the ground sheet. I really like the modularity of this tent. I really like the pack size. I mean, it packs down to just barely over a foot long. Works great on the Honda Monkey, would work great on a even a medium-sized motorcycle. It's going to fit great. If you've got full-size panniers, that thing's going to disappear in there. It's going to be, I love the pack size. So several really good things that I like about it. One con is they call this a two-person tent, and I don't believe it's a true two-person tent. If you were backpacking, you would not have room to store stuff in here if you had two people. If you're bikepacking, it's going to be the same way. You're not going to have much room to store stuff inside with two people. Two people would not be able to use the fast fly setup. It's not wide enough with just the ground sheet for two people, and the fast fly, someone's pad would be on the ground. You'd have the chance of someone's quilt or backpack or something getting wet if it rained. So I would say that's probably a con, is it's not truly a two-person tent. But other than that, that's really about it. Oh, it is a little finicky to get your ground sheet tight, to get your bathtub floor exactly right over it, and to get your rain fly over that. So when you're putting all three pieces down, it is a little finicky. So that would be probably another con is there is a little bit of fiddle factor whenever you've got to put all three items together. The Fast Fly system, you take your ground sheet and you stake it out tight, put your poles up, throw your rain fly over it, and it's done. Very little fiddle factor when you're using two of the items together, but when you use all three, there is a factor. Really, that's it. I want to thank the guys at motocampnerd.com for sending this to me for testing. I do like it. I do think it will serve a very good purpose, and I think it could serve a very good purpose for you. If you are needing pack size over pack weight, if you are needing modularity, or if you want modularity, if you're a person who loves to tarp camp like I do, or if you're a person who wants to have the ability to stargaze by having the tent body set up, and that will keep bugs away, but you don't have to put up your rain sheet or rain fly. If you're in a heavy bug presence and you need that protection, but you don't want it to be hot, you could go without this. That won't trap in as much heat. It'll be a much cooler for summertime. There's a lot of different uses for this. I really like it. Thank you, motocampnerd.com, for sending it to me for testing and for review. You guys go check out motocampnerd.com. They've got everything you need for moto camping or bike packing. They can hook you up. Yeah, so I'm going to tear this down real quick. I'm going to show you how I put everything back in my bag and how I pack my bag. It's only going to be a time lapse because it would just take too long, but you'll see that I can fit all of this onto my Honda Monkey, so you can fit all of this onto your bike with no problem. So without further ado, let's break camp and call this a done video. So here we go. So there you have it, folks. That is the first look at the Fly Creek HD UL2 Bikepacker tent on the first off-road adventure, bike camp, moto camp with the Honda Monkey. And as you can see, I got her fully loaded up, ready to go. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember to check out motocampnerd.com for all your moto camping backpacking needs, and we'll see you guys next time. So thanks a lot for coming along. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome to Ruby Lake, and as you can see, left no trace. See you guys next time.